Man, do I have a list for you today, okay? Get this. 15 of my favorite budget knives, wait for it, of all time. That's right, no restrictions, no nothing. Well, other than it has to be a budget knife, of course, but this is a video you do not want to miss. And to even make things even more difficult for me, one knife per brand. That means one Ganzo, one Bestech, one Kershaw. You get the point. First though, we should probably go ahead and define a budget knife, because I know it can be different, for each person. So for the sake of this video, let's say a budget knife will be under $60. Hey, how you doing? If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. My name is Jay. Consider now clicking on that subscribe if you're looking for knife reviews that get right to the point. And I will be sure to go ahead and put links to every knife that I show you here today down in the description, just in case you see something that you like and you want to go ahead and pick it up. All right, let's get going with number 15 from Stedemon. This is the BP-02. I gotta tell you right now that the action on this knife is probably the best out of all the knives on this list. Let me show you what I mean. Watch this. Watch this. Are you kidding me? That was right out of the friggin' box. It has that 1-to-1 perfect like blade to handle ratio. The blade thickness, yeah, it's a little bit on the thick side at about 3.8 millimeters, but it has some very tall, check out those really tall thumb studs. Yeah, it just makes it like super easy to get at that and flick this bad boy out. There is a couple things that I don't like here, and really it's going to have to do with this pocket clip. You can see it's just a very shallow carry. I mean, even though it is switchable for us lefties, thank you, showing us that lefty love, but yeah, check that out. It's really tough to like get this into your pocket because there is just like no room where that screw is. I don't know why the heck they did it like this. And number 14, this is from Kaiser's budget brand. This is the Tangram Santa Fe. I really like the design of this one. Something about like this handle up against this sheep's foot blade shape is just really good looking, and I like the size too. That blade is only about 3.3 inches in length, so it's a really nice EDC size, and that blade stock thickness, or I should say thinness, because you're looking at only about 2.6 millimeters, but man, does it make this a wicked slicer. And just like the last knife, you can see there's no flipper tab here, so it's just thumb stud deployment. So that means when you're cutting like here on a flat surface, all of that edge, you're going to be able to make use of all of that sharpened edge. Super lightweight at just under 3.5 ounces. You did notice that action. Yeah, deploying the blade is incredible on those bronze washers. But we got to get into what I don't like about this knife, because one of my issues is the closing action. Since, if you like to fidget with your knives like I do, you're not going to be able to do that here. Number 13 from Real Steel. This is going to be the first button-operated plunge lock on the list, and it's the Griffin. Real Steel gives us just a good look, and check out that drop point. That's going to be made out of 14C28N Sandvik steel. So I mentioned the button lock. Not only does it have that, but that blade's riding on a ball bearing pivot. So you know what that means. Yeah. Nuts, crazy, insanely good action. I mean, this is one of the best fidget knives. Fortunately though, there's a couple things that I don't like here. And let's start with that pocket clip. You can see it's not really deep carry. I mean, it's not too bad, but it's also just one position. Yeah, no lefty love here. And this handle, aluminum, this black aluminum, is super, super slick. Coming in at number 12, I really wish that CH would start maybe naming some of their knives. But this is the 3001. And what a good looking drop point that they put on this blade. I love it. Really nice EDC size, easy to pocket, nice and lightweight. Couple minor things that I don't like, and that being, well, this does feel kind of fragile because of, you know, it's lightweight and the scales are they're kind of thin, so it just feels like it would break easily. I mean, I know it's not gonna. I'm just saying that's how it feels to me. Yeah, I know you've been waiting to see this one. So at number 11 is going to be the Ontario Rat one. Just so much good going on here. First, the price. You're looking at about $40 for this big chunk of D2 steel. I love the shape and how, like, the ergos of this handle, and I have medium-sized hand, but you can see I can fit, and I still got some left over. So those of you with larger hands, oh yeah, you're going to be good to go here. Oh, and the pocket clip, 4 positions. Now I know I've said this before, but my only gripe with this knife is going to be that pocket clip. In the tip-up configuration, it just carries way too shallow for my liking. Hey, you want to carry it tip down? You're good to go. Tip up? Here's that Kershaw. So at number 10 is going to be the Leek. There are so many versions of the Leek out there that you could get this in just about any possible flavor. This one is going to have the 14C28 and Sandvik. Oh, I got to show you this. I got this just the other day. Look at that. Yeah, I got it in copper. I mean, it does add a little bit of weight to it, but it's not too bad. And the blade steel, I was actually kind of surprised. It's CPM 154. And we also do get multiple deployment options here. Yeah, you can use those thumb stops, the blade stops, like a thumb stud. It's not always easy for me to get my finger in there. There we go. Just because of how close it sits up against the scale. And as long as we're talking about that pocket clip, that's going to take us really nicely into what I don't like about this knife. And, well, yeah, it's that. I mean, this clip almost takes up the whole darn scale. And the thumb stud situation for the lefties, because of how close that is sitting. It's butting right up against the scale. Righties, they give you guys a little bit of room, but not much more. And number 9 from ESEE, you're looking at the Zancudo. And you know what I just noticed is, check out the blade shape here, the Zancudo, and then it's next to the drop Laconico Keen. Almost the same. No wonder why I like the blade shape on the Zancudo, because I love this blade. I only have one issue with this knife, and it's a big one. It's because of that. I normally don't care about the branding, but man, they sure did go nuts. It really does just need to be toned down. All right, here she is from Steel Will. This is the mini Cutjack D2. You know, it's really easy to understand why this has been such a big seller for Steel Will. I mean, that forward choil, by far probably one of my favorite features about this knife, other than like the blade shape and the weight, but that forward finger choil is great. I mean, it really turns, you know, like a small knife into, it starts to feel like more of a larger one. The action is fantastic. I mean, you got a really strong detent. This is a knife that is very difficult for me to get it to fail on the deployment. I mean, it's a great price. It has just some excellent traction. Take a look at those scales. And not to mention that jimping, very aggressive. In a good way, though. There is a couple things, though, that I'm not too crazy about, and that being really the pocket clip. Never been a fan of this. Kind of difficult to get it in and out of my pocket. And I don't know why, but that cluster of screws just drives me bananas. I mean, even though they did, okay, I gotta be fair, they did give us some lefty love, so Steel Will, thank you. And I know that the blade is riding on bronze washers, but I just kind of wish that the action, like the closing action, was just as good as the opening, because No, this is definitely not going to be a fidget knife. And here's a knife I never get tired of seeing from Rake. This is the P-801. One of the few knives here on this list that does have the multiple deployment options. There you can either use the thumb studs or the flipper tab. Man, that flipper works really, really good. Very solid construction, yeah, because this is all stainless steel. And yes, it does have that really nice frame lock, deep carry pocket clip, but it's only one position. So the weight, it is going to be a little bit heavier. A couple really small gripes. The first one being, well, that thumb stud, because it's really kind of small. Sometimes it's difficult to get at. Of course, it works perfect here on camera. Number 6. Now this is a knife I'm going to go ahead and take full credit for finding, and this is the Free Tiger FT903. Basically, it's a great knife with great action. Deployment is phenomenal. I mean, this knife came out of nowhere and surprised a bunch of us. Look at that blade shape. You know what? Now that I'm looking at it, doesn't that kind of reminds me of the Benchmade Freak. Knives like this at such a low price tag, and so much that they give you in return, it does not come around very often. Disassembly. Now, if you're somebody that likes to you like to disassemble and maintain your knives yourself, you might have trouble, because they do go ahead and use some Loctite. However, man, I keep forgetting to post those pictures. Wheaton Zoomies, he was actually able to get one of these completely apart. He took pictures and he was nice enough to send them to me. You know what? I'll go ahead and post them in the community tab so you can see. This has to be my all-time favorite Ganzo Firebird knife, and you're looking at the FH41. This is just such a great knife at a low price with some of the best action I have ever experienced on a knife. You know, budget or not, the action on this is just amazing. Really, there's only one issue that I have, and you know, some of you might not agree with me on this, but the flipper tab, it's a little bit large for my liking. And what really bothers me though is that the pocket clip, it's just going to be one position. So as a lefty, if I want to go ahead and carry this with that larger flipper tab, you know, sometimes it could open up in the pocket, and it actually has once. Number 4, from Bestech, you're looking at the Texel. As a budget sheep's foot, I mean, Bestech did a really nice job on this, and you can see it is, so it's going to be just the flipper deployment, which a lot of times with sheep's foot blades, you know, having a flipper tab doesn't always work, because, you know, when you go ahead and try to cut, you're only getting like on a flat surface, you're only able to get like towards the tip of the blade. But you can really tell that Bestech took their time and they thought about the design of the flipper tab in relation to this blade. And the action, I mean, it's up there just like with the rest of them that I showed you. I mean, couple shakes, drop shut, ball bearing pivot, very nice. And the last issue is going to be regarding this sharpening choil. It's way too big. It's a giant size. I mean, either make this a forward finger choil or make it a sharpening choil, because it's just stealing away some of that sharpened edge. Number 3, this is going to be the Honey Badger medium with the D2 blade. The action though, oh my gosh, is the action so amazing on this. All right, you ready? This is going to be number 2 from Civivi. It's the Shredder. I know, surprise, right? So why did I go with the Shredder here at number 2? Why not, you know, like any of the other Civivis? I mean, like the Backlash or the Praxis, which you know I love. Really, the multiple deployment options, I think, is what kind of pushed it over the top for me, because you can either use that like thumb hole and like Spidey flick it open, or of course you got that really nice flipper tab. And on top of all that, you get a very generous forward finger choil, and man, does this thing cut. I mean, look at that blade, hollow grind. I mean, it's already thinner blade stock, but you throw a hollow grind in there, this is a lightsaber. But that tip, I mean, and it makes sense. I mean, it's a thinner blade stock, but yeah, you've got a very, very delicate tip that you might want to be careful with. All right, you ready to see it? My #1 favorite budget knife of all time. Actually going to be a newer model from CJRB. This is the large Feldspar. I mean, so what do I like here? Everything. I mean, I love the blade shape. I love the price, $35. I love the steel, which is D2. It is going to be just a thumb stud deployment. But look at that action. On top of that, you even get a really nice forward finger choil. I know now some people, it's barely just big enough to be a choil. So some of you, this might not work. And definitely like on the smaller version, forget it. You can't even try and use that as a choil. But the large one, absolutely, boy does this thing slice. The only thing that I could nitpick about this knife, my only gripe, is gonna be with the pocket clip, because you see they did go ahead and they recessed the clip into the scale, but they didn't use flat screws. Yeah, that's the worst of it. Okay, I've shown you mine. Let's see yours. Just go ahead and put down in the comment section below, what does your list of like favorite budget knives of all time? Put as many as you possibly can. They're always fun to look at and compare notes. If you enjoyed this video and you got like any value from it, do me a favor and just let me know by leaving one of these, and don't forget to click on subscribe. Hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next video. You guys, hey, take care. See you later. Stay safe. Oh, you know, of course the video's not over yet. I'm going to give away a knife. So this Monday, June 22nd, I will give away, I'll pick one name to win this drop Perpetua. Drop is the code word. Because if we do just like, you know, leave a comment, then people that don't know that they're entered into the giveaway are automatically entered. So if we do the code word, then we can weed, and then plus that way I know, you know, who watched until the end of the video, or skipped ahead at least. So drop in the comment section. Monday, June 22nd, I will pick a winner for this Perpetua. Good luck.